I love my control room so much that I'm back in my kitchen here on the Up and Adam show. We have lots to talk about. We've got a big show, big defensive show. I did the math this morning, 15 years for Cam Jordan, my good pal, popping by. What is this year going to look like? I have a funny Matt Ryan question for him. Lots to get into with the 8-time Pro Bowler searching for that championship ring. Is it this year? Is it shuck? Does he also almost say, you know what, when he tries saying shuck? I'm going to make that swearing problem. That's going to happen to some broadcasters, the Kevin Burkhardts of the world. This season, I don't know why I just said that. Colts All-Pro and Pro Bowl linebacker Zaire Franklin this year. Lots going on in Indy, of course, new DC, new pieces, a quarterback battle royale. So we'll dig into all of it. And yes, Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. Of course, we got to start in Pittsburgh. News of Aaron Rodgers officially becoming a Steeler. He inked the deal. We all saw the photo. The question remains, what is the impact of Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, on the Steelers, with Tomlin, with those receivers, without George Pickens, with Cam Hayward, with the expectations, with trying to maintain a winning season, but of course go much further. Playoffs last year. How much further can we get this year in that division with those other quarterbacks? So much to get into. As Aaron Rodgers himself would love to hear it, as he loves the Big Lebowski, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. And the more I think about it, the more certain's a tough word, certain that I am that he's going to look much closer to the MVP Packers version of himself than the one that we saw last year in New York, because he is walking into an organization with a made guy at head coach. He's got stability and consistency. He's got, I mentioned Cam Hayward, established veteran leadership on that roster. That matters. He's also 2 years removed from this Achilles injury that we saw happen. We all saw it happen. That brutal Monday night, I was there against the Bills, of course, 9/11, the flag, enigma to follow, the whole thing, right? His journey back from that. And 2 years is something that I feel like we don't give enough love to, maybe. We don't think about not having to rehab. Okay? Like he became, focused on one thing over the other things. Not having to sit on the table, as we all saw on Netflix, in Enigma, being able to get back into the football side of it, being able to focus on the chemistry side of it, him sort of taking his time with this, I think is a good thing. Him getting through whatever things that any human has to get through before making what he understands is a huge commitment. Dudes out here making commitments to people not knowing what they are left and right? He took his time and said, pro and con list, let me weigh through this. There's other things that are a little bit more important or taking precedent where I can't give my all. And in a commitment of like this, you want your guy to be 100% in. So we know now he is 100% in. This is not a fluke. This is not like, oh, I'm just doing it for like the dough, the panache, because I can't give it up. Like he took his time to make this decision. I think that really matters. History, by the way, gives us some insight into these injuries. Remember, this is a huge point that we need to talk about. He's not rehabbing. He's 2 years removed from the Achilles. Aaron would not be the only legendary quarterback to suffer a catastrophic season-ending injury, not play at his peak in year one back on the field, and then come back and set the league on absolute fire the next season. Let's go through some of these examples to refresh your memory. Tom Brady, okay? He gets his ACL shot, right? It was 2008. His first year back, it was okay. It wasn't Tom Brady okay, but it was okay. It wasn't typical Brady standard. The 10 wins, the fewest he'd have in a single season in another 13 years. And the touchdown to interception ratio, the worst he put up in a single season over his last 15 seasons in the league. Rodgers threw for 28 touchdowns and 11 picks this past year. For reference, by the way, not great, not the Aaron Rodgers standard that we have come to know and love. Look at what Tom Brady did year two, okay? 36 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 15-point jump in passer rating, 14-2 record, his second MVP award. Okay, you're saying, okay, that's Tom Brady. Stop comparing Aaron Rodgers to Tom Brady. That doesn't. Legendary quarterback status, elite of the elite, one of the best to ever do it. How about Peyton Manning? Let's look at those numbers, shall we? Let's do some exploration here. If you look at Peyton, he missed the entire 2011 season, as you remember. He had the career-threatening neck injury, right? He comes back in 2012 with the Broncos. He had an okay year. An okay year. Wasn't his standard. Wasn't what we expect from Peyton, what Peyton expects from Peyton. And it was nothing compared to what he did when? The next freaking year, 2013. 2 years, there's something about it, guys. 2 years removed from the injury, he set NFL records for both yards and touchdowns that, by the way, still haven't been snipped, okay? And more importantly, and like Brady, he won the MVP as well. It just got me thinking. And you can say those are different scenarios. You can say, what could you say? You know, Peyton had the defense, you know, Brady, all those things, right? Like, you know, the Steelers are ready. They are ready to go. This is a team that has maybe the highest floor in the NFL right now, right? It's something that we feel very safe about. If it can't be easy to suffer what was a trauma, and it was a physical trauma. It was there was so much hype about this trauma, the loftiest expectations trauma in front of the world to start the season trauma. Your career's ending. You want it to end as a Cinderella story on some Disneyland ride like Peyton and Brady. You've been thinking about that your entire career and manifesting that trauma. That can't be easy, you know, to miss out on your entire routine that's helped make you so great and having to rehab. So having to sort of pick yourself up mentally, physically, and go out and play at a Hall of Fame standard all in less than a calendar year is not doable by even the Toms and the Peytons. That's why. And it's not that you don't lose it. You don't lose what you have. Like eventually you do, but I don't see that from Aaron. And if you think that you do, I don't know what you were looking at late down the stretch last season. You know, I don't. I think he's going to be much closer to the MVP caliber guy. And second year removed from that injury, I think we see that, Aaron. And let's take a look. We talked about it on the morning call with the crew. Here it is. Okay, here's MVP odds. I haven't seen these yet. I'm seeing that he's plus 7,500 as you are. Okay, he's, I believe, tied for 22nd in the MVP odds on FanDuel Sportsbook, tied with Michael Penix, Bryce Young, Geno Smith, Bo Nix, and JJ McCarthy, year of our Lord 2025 Savior. I am just saying, if we are using history as a guide here and maybe some logic, throw some on that. What are we talking about? FanDuel Sportsbook, get on over there. You're welcome for that. What? Who is he tied with, Hamilton? Penix, Young, Geno. Love those quarterbacks.
Yeah,
love,
Nix,
obsessed
McCarthy.
with. I want to marry the value that is the Aaron Rodgers MVP odds right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's nothing against those quarterbacks, but you have a guy who's won as many MVPs as Aaron Rodgers has, is in that situation, and as you outlined beautifully, coming into that year two off the injury, that's a heck of a value. You're not going to find a better value than that.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Here we go.
What did you see? One thing that you would say if you're at a bar and you're ordering a drink, which you rarely do. I'm having a Budweiser bottle, and some loser next to us is like watching the TV, like he's trash, he's whatever. What is the thing that you saw that you and I would be like rolling our eyes at? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you see that makes you think he still got it?
Yeah, I mean, you still saw those moments physically. Some of the big throws he was able to make, he still got the arm. He still got some of the athleticism when he was healthy. Because remember, he also had the hamstring and the knee injuries that were going on throughout the year too. But when he was healthy, you saw all the things physically that you wanted to see out of him. It was a matter of consistency. It was a matter of communication, I think, at times. And there were times when it looked like, to me, that the injury was a little fresh on his mind at points with him in the pocket. He was a little bit jittery in the pocket, which we hadn't seen from him in the past. And again, that's another thing you think about in year two with that Achilles feeling better. Hopefully he'll be more comfortable in the pocket as well.
Tough division. I'm not saying he'll
Yeah.
be the MVP, but those odds are all you need to know about how people might be valuing him right now. And I think it's a little bit crazy. And I like that we dug up the historical parts of Tom and Peyton to show you what is possible. A little refresher, a little reminder as we get excited about this. And then all things Packers here, of course. Aaron, former Packer, Zaire Alexander. I couldn't decide when I didn't hear about this until this happened this morning, right? This didn't happen yesterday.
Yep.
No, it happened this morning. You told me this on the morning call, or like Richard, I think, was like the Zaire thing. And so I right away was like, what happened here? And I couldn't tell if I was surprised. I'm kind of not surprised that this was the move. I don't know if I love it. I do believe he's one of the best at his position in the game. I do believe the health thing is a concern. So he has to go to the right team that's willing to sort of see that as a low risk, high reward sort of vibe. But they're releasing him after 7 seasons, 2 Pro Bowls, and he's so good and disruptive and just like a guy that you don't want to face, like ever, when he's healthy and he's out there and he's doing his thing. But he has missed double-digit games through the last season. The reason that it wasn't surprising to me is because I'll let you guys listen to it. I got to talk to Matthew Richard. What's his last name? Middle name? What's his middle name? Matthew Robert LaFleur about Zaire a couple weeks ago. Take a look.
Ja is a great player. Unfortunately, he's been kind of snake bit the last couple of years, and he's missed a lot of time. And so it's hard to play up to your potential when you're not on the grass.
I think that's really it. I don't think that was I think that's clear. I think they asked Mark Murphy on the golf course also recently, like what they, when we asked Mark Murphy when we were with him at the draft, it's the injuries that really, and we saw Albert Breer talking about, an incentive laden deal that was outlined that Zaire didn't love. Of course he didn't, it's now it just becomes, where's the place for him if it's not on the Packers? And I would have loved to see them stay together, but now the Packers, they do save $36 million in cap space over the next 2 years, which is fun for me, Matthew, because that's my money and I get to do with it what I feel as the GM. I don't know what are we looking to bring in? I don't know. I have to think about it. I haven't had this is my first 2 sips of my morning coffee. So I don't know. I don't quite know what Packers I'm thinking, but I'd love to hear from Packers fans as we are, you're the owners. I'm just the GM. You guys own the team. So what do we want to do with that 36 mil in cap savings by releasing Zaire Alexander? Sadly, of course, beloved, of course, an agitator. We're going to see somewhere in the league. We'll play a little recruiting matching game with Zaire in a second, but Packers fans, please tweet me or please comment right here. We'll post this and tell me what you want with that 36 million in cap savings over the next 2 years. I got you. I'll take it to the front office. I am the front office. Same thing. Sorry? Oh, read this, they say. Packers president Mark Murphy, the reality is for the last 4 years, it's been about half of the games that he's been able to play. So we've kind of been used to it. Yeah, that was exactly what I was talking about when they approached him on a golf course. I'm glad we got the exact quote there. Thank you, Control Room, for that. As for Zaire, there is some competition on the cornerback market. That's the first. The second thing I thought was, who's still available? Because I knew when we were talking to LaFleur that like Rasul Douglas was still in play. Guys who are, bona fide DPOY world champions like Stephon Gilmore still out there in free agency. But there are a lot of teams looking for corners. You can't have enough corners, especially with the way this game looks right now. My vote for landing spot for one Zaire Alexander would be the Vikings, of course. We can do the funniest thing ever here. Join forces with he who you like drawing against, he who you have, I don't know if this is bad blood, or just 2 competitors who play at the best at their position, enjoying each other's company between the hash marks here. Go to the Vikings. So much has gone on between him and Minnesota over the years. They need a corner. I talked to Kevin O'Connell about that being maybe the only thing I don't love right now as far as keeping them from winning a Super Bowl. He gets a chance to play them, the Packers, twice a year. This would be perfect. Him playing, I don't even know, iron sharpening iron in practice against the Addisons and the Justin Jeffersons. I would love Zaire to stay in that division and go, and honestly be on the team or go against. I mean, maybe like Lions have invested a lot in their corner, so that's not going to happen. Chicago, no, it's got to be, you just got to join forces with Justin Jefferson and see how that goes. You know who else would be funny? The Panthers. funniest move ever. Like, remember the whole coin tossy thing? Zaire from Charlotte, love that for him. And if we're talking like actual X's and O's, I mean, he's like, I feel like I'm from here. I represent it. Go be there. Go be there with JC Horn. That's a nice little 1-2, nice little tandem. What they're trying to do, revamping a defense. We could see him fill Ramsey's shoes in Miami, right? You get Stephon Diggs twice a year. They don't like each other. Could he join the Bengals? I always should have wedged them in here somewhere. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing him against Rodgers in those AFC North battles. Who else am I missing? Where should Jair go? Really, what did I say on the call, Ham? That he'd go? My first landing spot outside of
your first
Philly.
Yes, Philly. Yes. Joining up with the defending champs. That is a spot that makes some sense to, not necessarily that they need him, but it fits in your like going somewhere where it's a bonus if he's healthy, but it doesn't destroy you if he's not.
They've got the exciting whites. They've got youth. They've got that, but why? But like, can't you just see Jair not even playing on a full complement of snap or whatever the deal is? That like how he's happy, they're happy, whatever. He's playing with like a crazy contender, and he just goes out there and makes like that game-breaking play in some meaningful, crazy-ass game against the Commanders, and like he gets, I don't even know Jalen Lane's number, like well, whatever it is. Like I could just see the play in my head where it's like, oh, that's why they brought him in here to do that and make that. Can't you see it? I can see him, and he gives Philly. He gives Philly.
Absolutely. And especially with, Fangio would probably love getting his hands on him.
Yeah.
It allows him to use some of those other pieces, take advantage of the versatility he has with Cooper DeJean and some of those other pieces. It does make a lot of sense. I also do want to point out to your Panthers point, they do play at Lambeau this year too. So that would also give him a chance to take on the Packers.
I don't think there's bad blood there. I just do think that like it's always bad blood with Jair in the best way possible. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know that like him going up against, like, I think I like to think that he's everyone's villain. He's one of those, it's also that position. You want like the antics and the feisty, you sort of inherit that with the kind of player that they are, the disruptor, the guy who's just going to like talk mess the entire 4 quarters. So I don't think that like anybody who's like, we don't want him. No, you want him. Like all these fan bases that are like, we don't want him. You want, like, you idiots, you want him. You don't want to play against him. Actually, you should be looking, if you don't need to, you should not want to have to face him twice a year. Nobody does. It's not fun. It's not fun for anybody, but loaded free agent. We had this little talk on the morning meeting, like, who would you rather have if you're Minnesota, right? You need corner help, you're a contender. Do you want Jalen Ramsey? I mean, there's a lot of connections to KOC, or do you want Jair? I don't know the answer. What would you say? Injuries would sort of be in my head about adding Jair, like every front office right now.
Yeah, that's what would tip the scales to me, because Jalen, is going to be, I mean, you never know, but has a better track record of his availability versus Jair. The injury thing is a real concern. If you can guarantee me that they're both going to stay healthy, I might lean Jair at this point, but that's so far with 3 of the last 4 years suffering the types of injuries that he has. That's a serious concern.
We have to get Jair on the show.
Yeah.
Jair, will you please come on the show? That would be
awesome.
Have we never had him on the program? We haven't.
I don't think we have. Oh.
I remember he screamed my name at practice and we were there at training camp, but then would not come over. He would not come over and hang out with us, which rude, but now you're not a Packer anymore. So let's find you a great home. Jair, please come on the show. Big fans here on Up and Adams. We should try to make that happen. Let's take a break here. Other side of the break, maybe we'll talk a little bit about wrestling, I guess. Very brief little stint. We'll be back. Can you explain what is happening? What is happening? Should I text him? Okay, good.
We got him.
I don't want to bug him. Want to do Seth in the next break? Well, let's just do this. I mean, okay, here's what I want to say. we have been talking about the Up and Adams bump for centuries. Okay. The age old Up and Adams bump. You come on the show, you end up making a game breaking play in the Super Bowl. You come on the show, you end up grabbing on a very wobbly ladder. You end up grabbing that little Deal or No Deal Howie Mandel case full of cash or whatever's in there, confetti, whatever, whatever. Mr. Seth Rollins came on our show in person, dragged me out of my humble abode, got my ass all the way down to Playa Schmista to sit down with him. And then, of course, he got the K Adams Up and Adams bump. He was talking about, I don't know what kind of bumps he was talking about with Pete Carroll. And I know that there's a wrestling bump that I don't quite yet understand if it's a bump or not. We could literally do a segment on the show about it. But I want to say congratulations and you're welcome to Seth Rollins for providing him the Up and Adams bump. He won. Money in the Bank. I don't know why it's so hard for me to remember that. Money in the Bank is what it's called. He's going to get to cash in for a title shot. It's got to be Cena. I don't want to hear any of the other names. I don't want to, you want superstar and superstar. When we talked about this a bit. Can we roll it? Let's do it.
You know, a lot of people talk a big game, but not everybody wants to back it up. And John is a leader through and through.
Does that make it difficult that you're going to take the title from him?
That's business, baby. That's not personal. You know what I mean? The title's business. So John can't keep it forever. I know he says he wants to. That's his big thing right now. He wants to take it. He wants to ruin wrestling for everybody, but it's not going to happen. Not on my watch.
I think you're going to win. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. I can't wait to see how it plays out. I would like to see, I'd like to see just me be right and him take on Cena. I don't really know. I won't watch, but I'll tweet about it.
I mean, that not on my watch really makes me think it's going to happen.
Sure. I know that the guy who got fired was back. I saw that. That was big on my timeline. Sometimes it's a heavy on the algo. So R-Truth, I don't know if you're a good guy or a bad guy or if I'm going to get in trouble for liking you, but welcome back. Welcome back, guy.
Down he goes! Cam Jordan, he has been a menace. Wants to throw under pressure and he's taken down. Taken down! Cam Jordan gets the sack.
Eight-time Pro Bowler, Saints all-time sack leader, one of my favorite people in sports and a social media, sports, TV darling. Cam Jordan, how are you, my friend?
I'm really good. I'm just enjoying life. I'm about to head to a barber. We got headshots tomorrow. I'm trying to get my face trimmed up. You know, I'm trying to look proper.
Oh, wait, can we pull up Control Room, these pictures? Your pictures have been iconic over the years. I forget. What are you going with?
I don't know. I'm sort of inspired. I want this Ryan Coogler, thick mustache, but I may vote against it, Yeah, he just came out with the Sinners. He's put on a whole bunch of movies.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You're going to go with the Coogler?
With just a mustache. And I'm feeling very House of Valerian, so I might dye some hair. I might, we'll see what happens. Just know I'm inspired right now by multiple different directions.
Where are you coming to me from? I feel like were you at the working out? Why are you even at the facility? Why does it feel like OTAs are every day this off season?
Right. Yeah. I'm definitely at the facility. I was about to get on the elliptical. I was about to warm up, about to get it in, and then they're like, I was like, you got K Adams. I was like, oh shoot, it's already 10. Good Lord, have mercy. We working.
You're allowed to do it. And I love that you're staying in shape. Elliptical. I love the idea of you at a Lifetime Fitness at midnight, watching reruns of I don't even know, Big Bang Theory on the elliptical with all the other people. I love that idea.
Come on. I eventually I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get on what is it what is it Planet Fitness or the orange one?
Yeah.
What's Orange Theory? I'm gonna be one of those P90Xers or I'm gonna get on with the little Peloton bikes. I'm gonna be one of those classes, Hot Works.
Do you ever go into a class like that and just crush people? How does that? I would do if I was a football player. I would do that every second.
No, the probably the opposite. Those ladies are killer in the Peloton courses. Have you ever walked into like the little Pilates studio or like the yoga studio?
Yeah.
And you got like some 65-year-old ladies crushing these child poses, and you're out there struggling like, oh, I mean, I got nothing but respect for these ladies. It's meant for these warriors. The Bikram yoga with the hot box, and then you add on yoga. Yeah,
I have a whole thing. I don't think men should be in those kind of classes. I don't think. I think. I know it's a whole thing. I'm not going to get into it with you right now. It can be a sidebar
that's
conversation.
very exclusive of you.
It is. It's not okay.
And I don't
it's
appreciate
not
it.
okay. It's just how I feel. Okay, but wait.
Okay.
They're telling me in my ear. I don't even have an earpiece in, as you can tell. But they're saying that we have a workout to show him. Is there a number in the Jared versus Aaron Donald workout over the weekend? What do you think?
Hey, stop challenging people if you born in the 2000s. When you born in 2000s, you're not built like people for sure the 80s, definitely not the 90s. Like, young Buck got a little ahead of himself. He just got to wait for that extra grown man strength. And then he challenged the muscle hamster of like the greatest muscle hamster of all time. Like we've known Aaron Donald to do like, those drills with knives coming at him and he's batting them away. You've seen him lift the house, seen him split double teams, at 5. What is AD's 5? Let's call it. I'm gonna give him 6 foot, but he's, a Kyler Murray 6 foot.
Got it.
Okay.
He's guys on dating apps saying that they're 6 feet. I get it.
You gotta bolster up a little bit.
You have I couldn't believe, Cam, this is your 15th mandatory mini camp starting tomorrow. What do you think? What does that make you think?
Really, it's my 14th. I never really had a rookie mini camp, a little lockout year. So really, I'm just trying to work it up. But yeah, you head into year 15, and I'm feeling great.
Okay, you sound great. What does it feel like mentally? I guess. How does it feel different this offseason going into year 15?
Man, I'm re-inspired and challenged probably every day that we're here. We've got a new coaching staff in. I think, Jay Rodgers, my guy, my DC Staley, head coach Kellen Moore. They brought in some energy, some youth, and also just the vision alone leaves nothing but hope and excitement every day we get into the locker room. Every day that I'm here, and able to get to the field. We got a lot of things in store without letting out too much. Like, I'm excited to see when we put pads on. You guys can have this part of the year. I really want, August to come as fast as it can.
Yeah.
At the end of July, August, when we put pads on and we will really be able to test each other's mettle.
You mentioned Bikram yoga, so it brings us to Brandon Staley. Is that going to be you and him doing that together? Hopefully
never. Oh, I've done my few stints, and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be me. It's not anyone's shape, but
what's he
my
like?
guy, oh man, just super knowledgeable, right? And just the fronts that he's installing, the things that he wants to do, and how he wants to be able to dictate the pace of the game, and just in terms of how our defense attacks things. We're trying to go, fast as we can, and if it translates to pads the same way, we're going to be in a great place.
You seem very full of optimism. You have a lot of energy this morning ahead of mandatory minicamp. I love to hear it. You got a smile on your face. It's picture day tomorrow. You were talking like a third-year player. I was just talking to Levante David last week. I had like Mercedes Lewis entering year 20. What is the secret to staying motivated like you are? Is it not winning a ring? Is that what it is?
It's the pursuit of all, right? So individually, you want to be successful. As a team, you know what it takes to be successful. My lips sort of curled when you said Mercedes Lewis is heading to year 20. That
Crazy.
Sounds disgusting. that doesn't even sound like ooh, I don't know if I'd be excited from that if I'm still playing 5 years from now. A lot would have had changed in this status. Like, no. Do I have 3 more years? Absolutely.
Oh, okay. So I would love, do you know what your plan is?
We'll taper
Ideally.
back. Yeah, we're going to check in. I said I had different check-ins in my career. Year 5, I was like, I got to get to year 7. At year 7, I was like, oh, I'll check in year 10. And then I think I was like, I'll check in year 12 or 13. I checked in. I was like, I feel great. And then, year 14, head coach switch, whatever that was.
Yeah.
I almost got reinvigorated, re-inspired. I was like, nah. I was like, y'all clearly slacking. The Saints are not sleepers. We're somebody we have to be reckoned with. But that's just it. 4 years out of playoffs, you're a sleeper until you prove differently. So we've got a mindset and a motivation to do just that.
Okay. I'm trying to think, like, when you do decide that it's your last year, will I know about it before it's your last year, or is it an off season? You know, like, are we going to do?
We'll be sharing the same
I want
screen.
you to have this. I know, but I want you to have this, like, not me personally. I want you to have, like, your retirement tour. You know, like, I want you to have your, you know, your Brandon Graham, your Eli Manning. Is that what you want, or are you know, what? How will I know?
When you see me get super skinny, I got that big old lollipop head from all the weight that I lost. Yeah, absolutely. That's when you'll know. You'll be like, he not going back. Or the opposite. You'll see me, like, 400 pounds because all I'm doing is traveling, eating, and drinking well, with the family. You'll be like, oh, he looks way too comfortable.
Well, you're getting on the elliptical, so I don't think that time's coming anytime. I was just curious if, like, you were ready to say that year 15 is a nice number. You're going to be done after year 15. You're saying that's not true.
Yeah. So we'll tap back in after this year, but, like, in my mind, I've got 3 great years left, and then we'll get out of here. Now it could switch up in the next 6 months. I'm not holding myself to it. I'm not married to 3 years, but, like, let's see how this goes. I think with our quarterback locker room, with our guys like Tyler Shuck that we just added on, with Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, we've got nothing but potential. You can see why you could get excited about the group. I think with the surgence of Alante Taylor as of the last couple of years, and just the second year coming into Kool-Aid McKinstry, I think our secondary has a lot of potential. There's a lot of hope and excitement around it. You always figure, with Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and now we bring back in, veteran president, super veteran, super speedster, Brandon Cooks. We've got 3 guys who are defense burners.
I met Shuck. Yeah, I met Shuck, Cam. He's fun to talk to. He's got a great, like, calm way about him. He seems, he's like an older rookie, so we love that. I hear the Saints beat writers, they're calling him explosive. What word would you use to describe him?
Arizona boy. Love it. Tyler Shuck, Arizona kid. What? Spencer Rattler, Arizona kid. Cameron Jordan, Arizona kid.
Yeah.
How you doing? We love it.
But what does that mean? Tell me about him.
That means you're going to get a player who's willing to do the work, somebody who's not afraid of the nitty gritty, somebody who is probably savvy if you're going to look at any other Arizona players that have been a part of this team for the last 14 years. Somebody who is explosive off the line and just going to be eye-catching and may not get the talent and the credit, the credit they get with the talent that they have, but they're going to do the work. And somewhere 5-10 years down the road, you're going to look and be like, dang, he has put together a great body of work.
And you're going to be a part of that because you're like the veteran. You, DeMario, like, I bet you guys are getting in all of their young ears, Rattler, of course, and telling them, like, how to be. Like, they'll reflect on their first 5 years in the league, and you guys will be a big part of that. I am curious, this, like, idea of maybe bringing in a veteran quarterback to that room. How do you feel about that? Would they benefit from having a veteran QB in there, a la like a Kirky Cousins?
Yeah. If anything about my, like, draft once have ever told you anything about how I've expressed myself about the draft, I have zero power. Now, when we think, like, rationally speaking, would you bring in a veteran quarterback? Sure. But again, this is all depending on how we look like when we put pads on. If our guys, Spencer, who had some gameplay time last year, looks phenomenal, then great. If Tyler Shuck looks like he's day one ready, phenomenal. I think, Hunter Deckers, yeah. We added him this last couple weeks. Boom, add him in there. We've got a young, potentially exciting quarterback room. And in that note, would I love a veteran? Yeah, because I always love a good veteran presence. I always love somebody who does things the right way and you can model your game after. Now, does that equal any of the veteran presence out there? I don't know. That's beyond me. I know that. Are you
telling me that you did not, when Aaron Rodgers was available, there was no communication between you and Aaron, you Cowboys, about him potentially being that veteran presence?
No, none at all.
Zero?
Zilch. And And the only reason was I was like, look, like he normally has his off-season process the last couple years.
Yeah.
So, until he comes out and says something like, hey, I want to play football again, or hey, I'm out of my 3 days something in a dark cave retreat, then I say nothing. And then, the first thing I heard from it was like, hey, yeah, the Saints are not an option. I was like, oh, well, guess I won't be texting my guy. Wish him well.
Yeah. Did you see the Zaire news?
This morning, right?
What do you think of that? What do you think?
At the end of the day, it always comes back to the NFL being a business. Every time you think there's loyalty, sometimes there's not. Sometimes it's one-sided. And I couldn't tell you which side it belongs to. Maybe Jair wanted to get out. Maybe the Packers, whatever that was. Just know I appreciate the loyalty here at New Orleans.
Would you like him to maybe join the Saints? That might be fun. Mickey Loomis can move some decimal points around.
I was like, don't we have some cap? We got some cap space.
What do you think? Recruit him.
I'm going to recruit a veteran quarterback properly when the time is right, and that's going to probably take all the cap space we have.
Got it. And who would that be? Would that be like Kirk? Like who's out there that's interesting to you? I was thinking if you could get Matt Ryan out of retirement to be your veteran quarterback presence in the locker room, would you do it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's sacrilegious. But not saying that he's not a great man or quarterback, but would never. Kirk Cousins in that same realm, guess who he plays for now? Like, had he been in any other team, we could possibly say yes, but coming from that team that can't Atlanta, can't do it. Jameis?
Oh, well. He thrived there.
If I'm being non-biased, Jameis?
He thrived there. Everyone's obsessed with him in the locker room. He's probably, that would be like, that's the bell of the ball. That's smart. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Cam, you're so smart.
There's Russell over there. They got Jackson Dart. My God, Jameis. Yeah, like, yes. Come on down. It makes a lot of sense. Joe
Go
Flacco,
see Mrs. B. Go see Mrs. B.
Absolutely. Yeah, in fact, you're right. I'm going all in. Jameis as a veteran quarterback. Come on over.
I think it makes a lot of sense. And then they've got, $28 million Mickey Loomis to try to make Jair Alexander happen as well. We've solved a lot of things here, me and Cam Jordan, over the past 10 minutes. TV break, don't go anywhere, Cam. I have a couple questions for you because you are kind of, we'll be back on the TV side. 5, 4, 3, 2, bye. We're still live on YouTube. I'm hearing you're playing outside linebacker. Is this a new role? Have you ever done this? What is this?
I have, but it's been a while. Like, I'd like to say maybe this Steve Spagnuolo era.
Oh,
like
gosh.
that's how long. Yeah, that's how long ago that was. Like it was either Steve Spagnuolo,
Spagnuolo.
Spagnuolo. I mean, when you call him Spags, like Coach Spags, you never had to worry about that last part of the name. But yeah, I would say, Super Bowl champion, defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs now. So he was doing he might have known something. I'd probably say then. It could have been.
But what do I need to know about this? Like, is Staley just trying to keep it interesting? It's a new yoga pose for you? Like, what is this?
No, it's keep me on the edge where I've always, thrived at. I think that with our young guys, we extend out Chase Young, keep him on the edge. You see the damage that he do when he's in an outside edge setting type role versus lining up head up on a tight end or an offensive lineman. Keep on that edge and the wall strong. You bring in you still have Carl Granderson, Isaiah Foskey headed into year 3. There's a lot of edge potential there. So why not capitalize on it?
More sacks then?
More sacks then.
I have to think, right?
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to. More opportunities equals more sacks. More edge rushes equals more quarterbacks devastated.
Versus playing with your hand in the ground the last few years, I like this for you.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I hate it. I'm hopeful and excited about a lot more things than just our quarterback room.
I love that. I feel bad for Michael Penix. You just do not like Falcons quarterbacks. And I looked this morning, I was like, you don't get to face him until week 12. It's too long. I hate that for you. You'll get that sack on, I'm sure. Before we go, I want you to ask you, do you know what happens when you take the field week 3 in Seattle? And I know we'll probably bleed on to the TV side. Apologies. Do you know what happens?
No, because all I know is we play Arizona week 1. You know me, I only care about week 1.
Okay, here's what's going to happen. You will become the all-time leader for games played in a Saints uniform in franchise history. You love New Orleans. You stayed in New Orleans. You're who people think of when they think of the Saints. What is that moment going to be like when that's official, Cam?
Well, I'm pretty sure they think about Drew Brees first, and then they probably think about like the Alabama Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram being, was a Saints all-time leading rusher in his era, and then now Alvin Kamara. But yes, of course, after that, I'd like to say the defensive side, Ricky Jackson, Cam Jordan, synonymous. And I love
can't
that.
believe, yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I have just had my own day out here in New Orleans. Was it the May 8th, May 9th? One of those days. I like to say May 8th. May 8th sounds about right. And it was one of those things that I was overly honored and excited to be a part of. But honestly, just for the legacy part, like I can officially say that I've made some sort of imprint in New Orleans, which I've always wanted to do. I think that holding the unofficial Saints sack record has been phenomenal the last couple of years.
Yes.
And I just want to win a Super Bowl here. So like that's my main play. And if I can't do it in the next 3 years, gosh darn it, I'm gonna be irritated. But I think we have potential.
Sounds like it's the next 3 years for you. We love to see that. I wish that game was in the Superdome, and I hate that. And you mentioned May 8th, right? I just want to shout you out as always. Like it's what you are in the field. It's what you are as a human, but you're so like affable. You have such a good personality. It kind of reminds me of Gronk in a way that like some of the good that you do is overlooked because of your personality. So May 8th, now Cam Jordan Day. Congrats on that. That is your legacy. But you're like nation, like in the NFL, like your legacy, and you have your scholarship program. It's so amazing. You've got, it's Louisiana high school graduating seniors. They got full tuition scholarships, okay, to in-state colleges. You have the pickleball tournament coming up July 20th, I believe. The SAC Summit, June 25th, doing good for people in the league and out of it. I know you get credit for it, but like I would just like to really give you credit for it. It's really incredible what you've done.
Hey, the NFL stands for not for long, and I'm here for a good time, not a long time. There's over 100 years of NFL history, and at most, I'm going to capture 17 of it, 18 of it. Like, think about that part. So out of my time in New Orleans, I'm just so blessed to have been able to be drafted here and to be a part of the community here. As you know, you come down to New Orleans, everybody feels like family. And just, from my first friends in a lockout year that were actual normal people to the people that lived 2-3 doors down from me in my condominium at the time, now work on my foundation website. Like it's real local, real family. And the camp that I got coming up, dang, is that Friday? I got a kids camp coming up Friday. Yes. I'm just so grateful that, I've been put in a position to have my cup be overflowed. I'm blessed.
Go get on the elliptical. You got 3 years to win a championship. Go, be nice to those rookies. Say hi to Shuck for me. I'm going to say the F word eventually when I say his name. That's impossible not to. It's unbelievable. Appreciate you, Cam, as always. And we're going to keep the defensive love going here on a Monday edition of the Up and Adam Show with the NFL's leading tackler last year. We love Zaire Franklin. 2024 All-Pro. You finally got the respect you deserve, Zaire.
The aggression that he comes with, Franklin Harris just shoots the gap, makes an excellent play, and able to get a mitt in there and bat it away.
Kid doesn't quit, man. Franklin will give you everything he's got.
Got to give him the proper treatment in All-Pro last year. Zaire Franklin, we've talked about this. We've campaigned for this. I had like little posters and tape going on and putting it up on lampposts all across the nation to get you that All-Pro. You earned it, of course. How does it feel to finally get the respect you deserve?
First off, appreciate you having me on, Kay. Definitely always appreciate your support. Definitely been one of the most outspoken ones, just kind of waving my flag, letting it be known. Just the work we try and put in out here in Indy. Honestly, it was cool, to just get that validation, from the league, from, my peers, and from, just be able to stand there, a couple stripes on my jacket. But at the end of the day, I feel like it just kind of put a lot in perspective just about, what this league really is all about, and that's winning. So, as thankful as I am for the year that I had last year, Pro Bowl, All-Pro, all that stuff, we got to get these wins. So that's really what's most important now.
Perfectly said. You got some Defensive Player of the Year votes as well. I think those will keep coming. Over the last 3 seasons, Zaire, no one has recorded more tackles than you. Not Bobby Wagner, not Fred Warner, not Roquan Smith. You, my friend, how does it feel winning aside, like personally, as a man and his goals and how hard that you've worked over these past 7 seasons? How does it feel knowing that you're the king of taking grown-ass men to the ground like that?
Well, first off, I'm glad you said Bobby Wagner name first. Definitely tell him that when you see him that I got more than him. So, he beats me in everything else. So I finally get a win. But honestly, I just, people always ask me, tackling, it wasn't really even, something that I felt like, I don't want to say I took it serious. I just, it's just hustle to the ball. It's something I didn't really even think was that big of a deal till Chris Collinsworth kind of told me one night, before we played Dallas, he was like, hey, man, look, they pay people a lot of money, to lead the league in tackles. And I was like, all right, well, I guess so. So, I just try to hustle. I just, play with relentless effort. For me, I just feel like I'm the field, football field is my jungle, and I'm the king. So I'm just hunting, so every play I'm just out there trying, capture something.
Relentlessness is the reason that this is happening, all the success, all this, the tackling, it makes sense. And shout out to Chris Collinsworth for getting you paid and figuring that out. Let's see the tackling in action. Okay. I want to look at this. I mean, it was a massive 4th down stop. It was week 4, if you will help me, against the Steelers, I believe. Will you walk me through this one?
Yeah. So we got to stop on 3rd and short. I think our offense was rolling at the time. Mike Tomlin gave Jay Fields the go-ahead to keep going. We actually had a blitz going, and somebody was lined up wrong, I think. So I just ended up just kind of making it right. I felt like Justin was going to try to keep the ball. Once I saw the guard pull, see ball, hit ball, just ran through, made a big play. Had to hit my celebration, ski mask on. Over to Mike Tomlin, just to let him know, don't try me like that. Much respect to the OG, too. No disrespect, but yeah, I had to let him know, you on my field. You can't do that.
You're wearing that Pirates hat that was against the Steelers. Is this are you sending a message to Aaron? Like, what's happening here?
I don't want no Aaron Rodgers trouble. Tell him to keep me out of that. I don't want no conspiracies. God bless that man.
You have him week 9. What do you mean? People out there think that he's done? What?
I mean, he's still playing. I mean, listen, obviously Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, period. There's really not much else to say other than that. I know he's got, I don't know him personally, but I know he's got, his different things that he's got going on off the field and stuff. It's hard not to see it. I'm glad to see him continue to go. And, I look forward to playing against him, but yeah, I don't want much to do with my man. He can stay over. He got Joe Rogan and all them. I'm gonna stick with Joe Button. Don't worry about it.
Okay, it's too funny. I love that. Those highlights we just saw. I'm so curious because obviously it was against Justin Fields and just the way he plays. Did your reps against Anthony Richardson in practice? Does that help you for the moment like that?
Oh, no question. When you playing a quarterback like Justin, like Anthony, who's so capable on the ground with their legs as well as with their arm, your imagination of, the possibilities that it could happen post-snap, could definitely have to keep you on your toes. Playing, a guy like Justin Anthony, you got to be ready for, the guard tackle pull. You got to be ready for speed option, got to be ready for a triple option, got to be ready for the RPO with the running component. And then, as well, when we got a guy like Anthony who can also make 75-yard bombs off his back foot, that's always a good thing too. So, definitely playing against young and definitely puts us in a good position when we play running QBs.
And he's so young still. I just keep telling everybody, you have to be patient. Like the Drew Brees.
He turned 23 a couple weeks ago. He walked in the training room. He said, today's his birthday. I said, how old are you? He said, 23. I said, that's absurd.
Isn't it crazy? He's so young and people just think that they know everything about him or they see how far he can go. I know he's rehabbing. It sounds like we might have him full go for start of training camp. I won't ask you for an update on that, but I do want to know from your perspective. And he is he's younger than most people. He's younger than, most quarterbacks, even in this rookie class, he's younger than some guys. What have you seen out of him as far as growth, maybe from even last year to this year?
Sorry, somebody just called me, but I definitely see, a growth and maturity, just from like kind of how he moving around. I think sometimes sorry, my brother keep calling
It's
me.
okay. No problem.
It's definitely easy for people to judge, young players, just because, it's sometimes we forget what it was like to be 21, 22, and when you feel like, as with this age and maturity, you feel like you kind of got some answers because you done lived through certain things. Him coming to the league, he had to learn a lot of stuff on the fly. But I definitely see, just in him, his growing into his personality, growing into, the type of leader, the type of, teammate he wants to be. Even me personally, I was voted a team captain my third year in the league. I wasn't even starting, I got voted a captain. I feel like my coaches didn't even know, they were just wondering why I got so many votes. But at the same time, it took me to about my third year to really, feel comfortable being me in the building. That's like just a different type of comfortability you got. So he definitely been growing, definitely been in the building, definitely been trying to, put the work in and stuff too. And it was showing too when he was practicing. Unfortunately he got a little setback, but I'm not worried about it. I think he's gonna be okay.
You had a bit of not a setback, but you had a cleanup procedure, right? You're out, right? I'd love to know. I feel like you're never injured. I don't know that that's true, but I feel like you've been one of the things I think about when obviously tackling all the things, the intangibles, team captain, but you're a durable player. Like you don't deal with injuries in your career. What is that like to have a little bit of adversity in this rare period off right now?
Yeah, well, it's crazy. First of all, everybody deal with injuries, Kay. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got many bumps and bruises I had to charge to the game, but honestly, I feel like durability is a trait that's got to be learned. You got to learn how to test the limits of your body, test yourself, learn how to play through things. When you get to this league, come November, December, everybody gonna be dealing with something, and at the end of the day, nobody want to hear you complain about it. You either gonna make the plays or you ain't. So that's just something I pride myself in, and I really just like to be there for my teammates. When I think about being durable, I just want to be somebody that they could count on, somebody that my coach could count on, somebody that my organization could count on, and just know, if we give Zaire this responsibility, he's always going to show up and be there for us. So, honestly, I'm going on my 8th year. This is my first time ever missing OTAs. I've never missed OTAs. So I got a little bit of anxiety, coming from 7th round. If I'd have missed the OTA around a couple of early years, we wouldn't be sitting here today. But so it's definitely tough. But at the same time, the blessings in disguise has obviously let me able to heal and work on a couple other things. At this point in my career, I'm able to grow and attack, my preseason training in a different way. And also it's allowing me to build bonds with my teammates in different ways than I wouldn't have been able to do before too. So
it's so interesting.
Different.
Yeah, you have to use the time wisely in a weird way, but also I can tell I would call it PTSD of oh my gosh, if I'm not there giving it my all every day, that's who you are. That's how you're made. Am I going to lose my spot? But rest assured, I think you're going to be okay. We're going to take a TV break, talk through it, of course, because we're live on YouTube to get this content out with one of my faves, Zaire Franklin. I want to ask you about about Tyler Warren. Okay. Yeah. I read that he took what I think is the respectful route of not asking you for the 44 that you wore in college. Is that true?
Right. Yeah, he didn't even ask me. He didn't ask me.
And you're okay with that? What do you make of him? What do you think?
First of all, Tyler, he funny. He quiet, man. And he a grinder though. He a grinder, which I love and I appreciate. He in early. He leave late. He think he could just walk by and not speak. I told him I can make anybody talk. I said that's my superpower. So I'm gonna get to him the other day. He didn't agree with one of my opinions in the locker room yesterday. I told him that's why I didn't give him 44. So I'm gonna just pretty much hang that over his head. We were talking about Rita's Water Ice because I own the Rita's Water Ice in Indianapolis. And Pittman did something diabolical. I don't know if I really want to put Pittman out there, but Pittman did something diabolical against my brand.
What'd he do?
So Pittman had his kid's birthday.
Okay.
And he hired the rival water ice company, knowing that I own a water ice company. But that's just the type of guy Pittman is. I love Pittman, but so that's what we had going on. So then Tyler was walking by. I asked Tyler, I said, Tyler, what's your favorite water ice? And then he said the rival water ice. So I said, yeah, you'll never smell that 44 in your life. Now,
It's
so
absolute
now
bullshit by Pittman. First of all, Pittman, do
and
better.
Tyler, honestly,
Like,
you went to Penn State. Like, come on, gang. I know it was a readers out there. Don't do that. So, but no, he's a great kid. He's a dog, man. And honestly, when it came to the number, like, I wore number 4 in college. I wore number 4 in high school. So like 4 was actually like, my favorite number. I got to change Z4, so like 4 is really my favorite. So I'm not going to say I wasn't open to it. The only thing I would say is, it was just like, when I came into this league, when I first got to the building, they gave me number 97. I don't even know if your producers can find a picture of me in number 97, but
I bet you they can. Let's do it.
That's what I was wearing around this building. I was the 11th draft pick in 2018. Yeah. I was the only one that didn't pick my number. So to be honest with you, and very respectfully too, because Antonio Morrison was definitely a great vet when I got here. He wore 44 for training camp that year, but I had to earn my jersey, man, and my mentality. I low-key had to take that from somebody, So like, it was that's kind of like my mentality. That's how I approach work too. So it's like, if it was something that was really that important to me, he came and hollered at me about it. We could have had a conversation. I wouldn't have, spurred it away, but. And then obviously I got to get a 44 shout out to Syracuse too. So,
yeah, of course. I'm glad. I like that he didn't, for all the reasons. I like that he didn't ask you. And it sounds like this is why, just so anybody who's watching, like, this is what your power in the locker room, that like these conversations are happening, that these, by the way, there's no rival to Rita's. Like, I don't even want, there's literally none.
But see, that's Pittman. Like, so look, when you see Pitt, just tell him that he ain't moving the right way. But
no, I'm done with Pitt. Like, Pitt's not allowed on the show. I'm not saying anything nice about Pitt. He's not on any of my fantasy teams. He's done. Okay, quickly, I want to get through 2 things. The Texans, they're vulnerable this year. Everybody's saying it, everybody thinks it. You don't play them until week 13. It's such BS. Does it suck having to wait that long?
No, I mean, it's funny because I see it both 2 different ways. Last year, every other year we play, a division rival, division leader, 2 times before Halloween. And then it always seems like they want to collapse after we play them the second time. And now we play Houston, I think you said week 12 for the first time, but we play them 2 times in 5 weeks. So, it's just kind of a part of it. We just got to keep going.
I love that you know. That. Everybody go to the Rita's, and I think it's Cordsville. I think that's what I'm saying.
McCordsville.
McCordsville. I love that. Really quick, Zaire from playing Syracuse. Should he be a Colt?
Oh, we definitely welcome Zaire. Zaire from Philly, too. People don't even know that. So, yeah, tell Zaire come slide.
Okay, I love that. He'll help out the Colts secondary. I appreciate you, Frank. You're the best. You're the best, Zaire Franklin. Thank you for being here. Go to Rita's and boo on Pittman. See ya. Bye.